Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to our brand new weekly fantasy football advice. We're already on week 5, but let's recap week 4, see what happened, see what went down. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch you guys up on. So, once again, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend. How we doing today, Justin?
Great. I absolutely kicked your ass in fantasy, so how could I do better?
I don't know about kicked. But we'll get into it. We'll see what actually went down. We'll just see whose team is more shittier. And we'll talk about it. So there you go. There you have it. That's the matchup. That's the box score. Let's look at it. So I'll talk about how my team performed. So I started Sam Darnold over Mr. Anthony Richardson this week. He was pretty solid. He had the most points on my team other than Mike Evans. Josh Jacobs had an average outing with 11, under his projection. J.K. Dobbins didn't really have a big day with 9. Tyreek has still been a dud because he doesn't have a quarterback. Mike Evans was because he played the Eagles in the crappy secondary that they have. Kyle Pitts was a no-show. Travis Etienne been kind of stinky this year, not going to lie. Texans defense kind of fumbled the bag, only 1 point, but Jake Moody delivered with 13. Then we'll talk about my bench here. Maybe I could have won if I started some people. Bryant Thomas is a guy that I should be starting maybe every week instead of Tyreek Hill because Tyreek Hill has been awful. McLaurin, too, is a guy that could be moving into the top 20 receivers here in fantasy because Mr. Jaden Daniels, right, Justin? Jaden Daniels is that guy. He's the future.
Absolutely.
Amari Cooper kind of had a dud week with only 7.5. And Rashad White did Rashad White things against the Eagles, put a decent average outing, and Jerome Ford was average. So maybe if I started Brian Thomas and maybe if I started Terry McLaurin, maybe I could have won, But let's talk about Justin. Justin, turn it over to you. Give you the floor. What did you do right?
About me.
What did you do wrong?
Well, what I did wrong was what I do wrong every week. I picked the wrong quarterback. I love Jaden Daniels, but I'm like, Kyler, though, he's playing a secondary that's not the best. So I thought big Marvin Harrison Jr. day, but I was wrong, man. I should have never underestimated the best quarterback in the NFC like that. Jaden Daniels, you will be starting every week. Every week you will be starting. I'm sorry for down you, my glorious king. You will be starting. And if you
gotta rebrand your team, man, calling him a glorious king.
I might have to. If he drops another 20 bomb with him in the lineup against that Browns defense, I will rebrand. I promise you. If he drops over 20.
But it's not. It's not gonna happen. Keep going.
Yes. I got duds from the running backs, Devon Achane, who I love. I love him. But Mike McDaniel sucks when he doesn't have Tua, so he only had 6 points, 5.9 to be exact. And Brees Hall, downpouring New York. Broncos have a good defense. And, Brees Hall's a guy you got to ride every week, regardless of the matchup. And, he didn't perform well, but he'll bounce back. I'm not worried about that. But, man, let's talk about my receivers, man. I don't have this whole receiver dilemma that you have. I got 3 guys I could play every week, and I can count on to carry me.
I wish.
Jamar Chase, what? 17.5. I'll take it any day of the week, man. Did you see that touchdown run? I was like, holy shit, Steve's done. I coached him on that route. I told him how to do that.
You coached him on that route. Buddy.
I taught him at Orchard Park. You filmed me that one time. I was like juking you and Mark out with Matthew Boyashin at quarterback, the worst quarterback ever. I snagged the ball. I juked you guys out, and I scored 6 on you. He learned that from me. Justin Jefferson, man.
From you.
Number 1 receiver, obviously, in football. We share the same name. Obviously, you got it from me, too. So, credit to that.
He got it from you.
There. Sam Laporta, good job. You got your projected total. That's fine. There. Nico, bro, you've been balling.
Dude, he's a dog.
You've been balling.
I have him in my other league. He is insane.
He's been awesome. 33 points, man. It's been great. I did have Broncos defense, but then I changed it up last minute. I'm like, Chicago Bears offense is not that good. They did fine. 5 points, I'll take it. But I should have kept the Broncos, who had 12 points. So that was a little mistake there. But yeah, I dropped Justin Tucker. I picked up Chris Boswell, and I'm happy with 8. I'll live with that too. So overall, good performance. My only mistake was sitting my glorious king with 24, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
That's my only mistake.
it was pretty bad sit there. Yeah, but you should be sitting him every week, so you did the right thing there.
No, I did not. I messed up again.
Yeah,
That will never happen again.
All right, we'll see. We will
Never.
see. But we got some breaking news. We had a trade that went down last night in our fantasy league. It involved my team. I'm gonna pull up the trade here, but I did make a blockbuster move. It was a 4-player swap with the one, the only Marcus Combs. And we'll talk about it. I gotta pull it up here, but it was a blockbuster trade. I wanted to make a move. Justin texted me I had to make a move. So I made a move. I made it happen. And once I pull it up here, it's going to be amazing. And we're going to talk about it and give you the full insight on who won, who lost, was it an equal trade. And here we are. There is the trade. So, ladies and gentlemen, I had to pick up 4 beautiful players to add to the squad because I wanted to, refresh the team because there's some players I was kind of frustrated with, and I had to lose some of my key players to do that. So what happened is I traded away Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans, Anthony Richardson, and Kyle Pitts. I moved off of them. Anthony Richardson, I didn't want to play that waiting game. Is he going to be good? Is he going to be the best quarterback, or is he just going to be a dud? Kyle Pitts, I'm done with the Kyle Pitts experience. Had to move off of him. And now that's Mark's problem. And yeah, Mike Evans, I like him. I think he's really good. He's a top 10 receiver in this league, but I had to get rid of him to pull off this trade. And I think he's a boomer bust player. Just depends like who he plays. Like some weeks he'll do really good. I have like 25 plus, or he'll be a bust. I'll have like 5 or 6. So that's why I was okay with moving off of him. And then Josh Jacobs, he gets the yards, but he just can't find a way into the end zone as of late. I think he will figure it out eventually. But I had to get rid of him to acquire this haul. So this is who I got in return. So I got the best running back ranked in fantasy right now, Alvin Kamara. I think he is really good. He's a guy that's really consistent, a PPR machine. I wanted to add him to the roster, so that's what I did. I wanted a better tight end. I was tired of dealing with Kyle Pitts, so I upgraded there. I got a solid guy, a guy that I believe I can get 5-10 points every week with Jake Ferguson. Or he could even get 15 or 20, depends on who he's playing, the matchup, all that stuff. And then I also brought in Stephon Diggs. I think Stephon Diggs, he's a solid receiver, and he's been consistent so far this year. I know he's not the number 1 option, but he's consistent, and he finds ways to get into the end zone. And he's playing the Buffalo Bills this week. Revenge game. I think he's going to go nuclear. So I'm excited to add him to the squad. And I also acquired Kirk Cousins, but we'll talk about him. He might not be on my roster anymore, and we'll talk about that. But, Justin, I wanted to see if you had to see who won this trade. Off the top of your head, who won this trade? Who won it?
Well, I'm just going to look at it position-wise. Running back, you upgrade, you win there. Tight end, you upgrade, you win there. Quarterback, I'll give it to Mark because when he's healthy, he has the rushing upside, so I'll give that to Mark. And receiver, I'll also tip it to Mark a little bit. I like Mike Evans a little bit more because the weapons that's there. When Joe Mixon's back up and Nico's there and Tank Dell gets healthy, that could eat into Diggs' targets a bit, but not a bad receiver. He's ranked pretty high. He's been doing well, so it's close, but I'd rather take Mike Evans a little bit more personally.
I agree.
But
I agree with that.
If I had to give a slight winner, I will go with you because you got the best player in the trade in Alvin Kamara, and you upgrade a tight end as well. So I think those were needs, but I will add it makes total sense for Mark in context with his team. He still has Bijan. He still has Kyron Williams. And right now he has Brian Robinson Jr. as his RB4 behind RB3 Josh Jacobs. His running back room is still loaded. It's still fine. It's good. And he still has Devontae Adams. He's on his bench currently right now. And if he gets traded and he gets into a good offense, he'll be starting every week with Mike Evans. So it makes total sense for both teams. I think both teams got kind of what they wanted out of it. So I think it's a win. You could look at it as a win for both sides. It could be one of those rare win-wins. It's not what I did. It wasn't like, oh, a fleece job or whatever. I think it's a solid trade for both teams. And when you put it into context with what each team needed, it makes sense. So I like it for both teams.
That's exactly what I told Mark. I said it's a win-win for both of us because I believe he's getting players that will help him win at the end of the day, and he's giving me players that help me win at the end of the day. Because, yeah, I'm getting Alvin Kamara, instant upgrade to the running back room because I'm dealing with Josh Jacobs, ETN. Those guys are not even, averaging 10 points right now. It's kind of concerning. So I wanted a guy that was consistent and a clear-cut RB1, and I think that is Alvin Kamara. So I upgraded there. And I was tired of dealing with the Kyle Pitts experience. Yeah, he had a touchdown in week 1, but other than that, he does not get the targets. He does not get any receptions at all. And last week, he was a dud. And I think Jake Ferguson now, especially if Brandon Cook's out, don't know how long he's going to be out. He's going to be like pretty much a second option in this offense for the passing attack for the Dallas Cowboys. So I was excited about that. I wanted to take on Jake Ferguson to the roster. And Diggs, yes, I did downgrade at receiver, but it was something I had to do in order to get an Alvin Kamara and a Jake Ferguson. I was willing to dip into that because I feel like my receiver room isn't awful. They're just players that might be a little mid right now, but I feel like these guys can pick up the slack. Like Terry McLaurin, I think he can be a top 20 receiver in fantasy now that he has Jaden Daniels, the best quarterback in the NFC, right?
Right.
And Amari Cooper, I think he will pick it up this week as well. He's playing the Commanders, so that should be fun to watch, and hopefully he has a good week. And I also have Brian Thomas Jr., so I have guys that are getting better, and I think my receiver room will be fine, and I think I will benefit from this because I believe Mike Evans is more of a boomer bust receiver. Like he'll go off some weeks, but then there's some weeks that he'll have duds because they got a guy that can cover him, and then Chris Godwin will take the load and be that receiver for the Bucs. So that's why I think Diggs isn't a bad get when you're getting Alvin Kamara and Jake Ferguson. But I did cut Kirk Cousins. I want to put that out there. I did cut Kirk Cousins. I dropped him. There's better quarterbacks out there on the waiver wire right now. So I picked up a guy, and we'll talk about it when we get into my roster and what it's looking like now. So let me pull that up. But, yeah, all in all, I think it was a win-win for both sides because we both upgraded in positions we need to upgrade. And I don't feel like, there was any fleecing of any kind. But, yeah, let me pull up my squad, see what it's looking like now. I'm still debating if I should start this guy that I just picked up, but here we are. There you go. There you have it. There's a squad now. That's what it's looking like. I think it's better than what it was. We are 1-3 at the moment, the Tyreek Hillbillies. And, yeah, as you see, Tyreek Hill's not a starting lineup, and I'll tell you why in a second. But as you look, Justin Fields, I picked up him. I acquired him off the waivers. I'm thinking about starting him this week. I think he has a good matchup against the Cowboys, especially with Micah and DeMarcus Lawrence not there. I think he will have a big rushing day, especially with him being a mobile quarterback. I think the points will be there, and I think he's better than having a Kirk Cousins on your team at the moment. He's just been a great quarterback so far in fantasy with the Steelers and hasn't been turning the ball over as much. So I like him there. Yeah, Alvin Kamara, have him in the starting lineup. Jake Ferguson, happy. Looking forward to him, generating points for this team. And Diggs, I think will go off. Big nuclear day. And yeah, you love Jaden Daniels, so I got his number one option starting at receiver. And I think Amari Cooper will have a big day because he's playing that crappy Commanders defense. So that's what the starting lineup's looking like. And what do you think? You think that's it's a better lineup than last week? Is this a lineup that could beat you?
No, come on, man. No,
All right.
no.
It could have beat you last week. It could have beat you last week with the duds that you had.
Well, that was history. Now, looking forward, am I more scared of your team? No, Not at all.
Not at all. Okay.
Nope.
But I got better though. I got a little bit better. I improved. I improved. I got consistent players at the running back spot and consistent players at the tight end spot, and that's what I was looking for. Yes, the receiver room, they're a boomer bust for me. I think they are, but I feel like these are guys that can perform, and it's just a matter of them being consistent. That's all it is. That's pretty much what fantasy football is. Is your team consistent? If they are, they're gonna win. If not, you're going to suck and make trades like I did. So let's get into it. Let's talk about our 4 categories we like to talk about every weekly fantasy football advice video. Let's do it. I'll turn it over to Justin. Justin, what is your stardom of the week?
I did this last week, a similar thing last week, but I'll do it again. I'm going with Najee Harris as my stardom of the week. I know the Dallas run defense played a little bit better, but I feel like with Arthur Smith, I feel like there can be more creative run designs. Justin Fields, you have to respect his mobility too. So I think there will be opportunities for Najee to get some rushing yards to get that up, and I think he's a good running back. I don't care that people say, oh, he's a soft runner, that Sire Franklin or whatever his name was from the Colts. No, he can play. He can run. Come on, let's be honest. He's a good running back. So I like him here. I would start him. I think he could be good for a touchdown. I think he would be good for over 50 yards. So I think it's an interesting play at our RB2 spot.
All right. That was a surprise to me. Najee Harris. I wasn't thinking that was going to be your stardom, but it's respectable. It's respectable. Mine is a guy from my team, and that is Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper should be starting in every lineup this week because he is playing the Commanders. I feel like the Commanders' secondary is one of the weaker spots of that team. And Malik Neighbors went off. Marvin Harrison had a touchdown against them last week. Like, your receivers will get over 10 points every time they play the Commanders' secondary. So start Amari Cooper if you have him. I know he's been a boomer bust every week, but this is the week you got to start him. If you're, questioning who you should start this week, start Amari Cooper. He's like a low-end receiver 1 this week. So I would definitely start him in your flex if you have
him. I like it. It makes sense. I'm not going to push back there, but I like it. You want to do the sit-ems?
Yeah, let's get into it. What is your sit-em of the week?
Ramondre Stevenson, my sit-em of the week. Because the fumbling concerns, Rod Mayo is going to limit his touches now. So we'll see more Antonio Gibson involved in the backfield. So, yeah, I'm not going to say fuck Ramondre yet, but I'm going to at least sit his ass down on the bench.
All right. Well, that brings it to now my turn. I got the sit Tyreek Hill this week. Tyreek Hill is my sit-em of the week. It's unfortunate. It really is. Drafted him number 3 overall. Think he's a stud. But they don't have a guy to get him the damn football and throw it over the top. We saw it this past week with Tyler Huntley. He was just missing on throws where Tyreek Hill was wide open. And especially against Christian Gonzalez this week, he's a really good corner and all that. I'm just not starting him, especially if you have guys like Terry McLaurin and Amari Cooper. I feel like those are better options this week. And Tyreek Hill, if you still want to start him, go start him. But if you have better options and there's better matchups this week, I would go start him instead of Tyreek Hill. So that's why I'm sitting him this week. It's just unfortunate how it's gone. Hopefully they could get him a quarterback in there because Tyler Huntley is just not the guy. He's not the guy.
It's tough. I get why you sit him. I don't know. I'm not sure though. It would be tough for me to spend a 3rd overall pick and sit a guy, but I understand the thought process.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but he's now a hillbilly, the Tyreek Hill hillbilly, so he's riding the bench this week. All right, what's your pick 'em?
Pick him. I mentioned him as one of my favorite players in the NFL. Not named Jaden Daniels. Xavier Legette. He had a touchdown last week. He was targeted. I think he'll become a number 2 to Deontay Johnson down there. I like his upside. The teammates love him, and I think he's got talent. So I like Xavier Legette. And also, you did see my waiver wire move. I did pick up Dontavius Wicks. I think he's another good pickup there as well, with Jordan Love back and healthy.
Well, fun fact, I did pick up Xavier Legette in my other league because Rashee Rice went down, so he's now one of my other options there at receiver because I did have Rashee Rice in my other league. And I did lose because Rashee Rice went down, so that was unfortunate.
He's a good vibes pick, too. He adds vibes to your team.
He does
even
add
if
vibes.
you just leave him on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. He'll root on your team there. But I'm gonna go with a different receiver here for Pick'em, and it's my favorite team, and that is the New York Giants receiver Wan'Dale Robinson. I feel like he needs to be rostered in your league if he is available. He does get a lot of targets, especially now with Malik questionable for this game. He's day-to-day with a concussion. I feel like Wan'Dale Robinson has been the second best option in the receiver room for the Giants, and Daniel Jones likes to feed him because he can't throw a deep ball, so he'll just throw a nice little slant to Wan'Dale, nice little drag route, and Wan'Dale, he's good after the catch. He just has, a tendency of dropping the ball and sometimes, running backwards to try and make a play out of something, but he does get the targets. He will get you those PPR points, so I would pick him up, especially with Malik Neighbors being questionable. So that's my pick of the week, Wan'Dale Robinson versus the Seahawks.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'll go into Fuck'ems. What is your Fuck'em of the week?
He's rostered on Matthew Boyagin's team. What's up, Matt? Collab soon, hopefully. Let me know if you're watching. Yeah, Matt, you should say fuck him. Keon Coleman, I would drop him. Hasn't had the production. We thought maybe he'll be receiver one upside. Not really looking like that. It looks like Kincaid's there along with Shakir, and those are like the top two that are getting like the targets there. So I'm kind of out on Keon Coleman. I think there's better options. Like we mentioned, Wan'Dale's a better option in my opinion. Legette's a better option in my opinion. And Dontavius Wicks is a better option, in my opinion, that are available in leagues. So I would, Mateus, I know I'm playing you this week. I would say goodbye to Keon Coleman.
Yeah, fuck him. Get rid of him. He's a piece of shit. But my fuck him of the week is a guy you dropped as I wrote him. It was funny as shit. Carson Steele. I would get rid of Carson Steele. Fuck him. Get rid of him. Kareem Hunt is the number one guy on this team. He knows the Andy Reid offense. You saw him get the carries last week. And Carson Steele had he had a fumble. Didn't he have a fumble in this game this past weekend? He had negative points.
Yeah, he did.
So
negative 0.4.
Yeah. He didn't even put up positive points last week. So you could get rid of him. And I think they'll use Samaje Perine as well more than Carson Steele. He's an undrafted rookie. It's a nice feel-good story there, but he's not good to have on your team. So get rid of him. Go pick up Kareem Hunt if you still can. I don't know if you can because waivers just happened this morning. But, yeah, get rid of Carson Steele. There's better options out there. Fuck them, can them, get rid of them. But I think we can end off this video here. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this weekly fantasy football advice video. Yet again, it was fun making, recapping what went down last week between our matchup, the trade that went down with me and Mark. So tell us who you think won down below. Do you think it's a win-win trade? Seeing our rosters and all that. Who won the trade? Do you think I won? Do you think Mark won? And, is my team going to be better off? And should I start Justin Fields this week? I want to know. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about that. And do you agree with our start-ems, sit-ems, pick-ems, fuck-ems? Let us know down in the comment section down below. And Justin, any final words before we end off this video today?
Well, we'll see who won the trade this week, right? You're playing Mark, so we'll see.
Yes, it is a nice revenge game, so that should be fun. We are excited about that. Mike Evans does play tomorrow night, so we will see who won that trade. He is playing A.J. Terrell, so I don't know. They actually have a good corner on him. We'll see if he booms or he busts. We'll see. We'll find out. But any other final words before we end off this video?
Good luck in week 5, baby. Good luck, guys.
Yeah, man. All right. We'll catch you guys later. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Benchwire.
Out.